We are in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood that's located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is where the deadliest attack occurred on the Jewish community in the U.S.
That's right. Deadliest one in U.S. history. It was about almost exactly 2 years ago, back on October 27th of 2018. This is when, during Sabbath services at the Tree of Life Synagogue, which is the holiest day of the week, by the way, for the Jewish community, that's when the man came marching in there with his gun, shouting, "All Jews must die." That synagogue is located right up here around the corner. We're going to walk up there, show it to you, show you what all is being done as far as memorials, try to take you by some of the graves, and we cordially invite you to come along.
Come along. In this video, we're not going to mention the name of the man who allegedly committed this crime.
That's right. He's actually in prison right now, and they are planning to hopefully give him the death sentence if he is found guilty. He actually agreed to plead guilty if he could just get life in prison without parole. Prosecutors said, "No way. We want to do the death penalty." They haven't done the death penalty on a federal level for cases since back in 2003, but they brought it back into the equation around 2019. We're coming up to, right now, the Tree of Life Synagogue. It has not been opened since this horrible event happened. They shut it down. They haven't had the money to repair it. They haven't decided for sure. They're collecting money. They haven't decided for sure if they're going to repair it and reopen it, or if they're going to knock the whole thing down and rebuild it. Anyway, you look at it, they say they're going to have a memorial for the victims inside of the new place, of the new synagogue. But for now, they haven't had the money to do those repairs. So let's take a look at what it looks like now.
You can see the door there, and this window over here are still boarded up from the day of the shooting. Then there is another window boarded up over here on this building. The fence is still up in this area. People have left items on the fence in memory of those lost.
At 9:50 a.m., the gunman walked through this paved area right here, in through one of these doors right here.
We would have walked up these stairs right here, walked right into that lobby right behind us, and that's where he started shooting multiple people in there. We went to different levels of the building during this period of time. Of course, this guy was one of those loners. He worked in a trucking company for many years. That allowed him to be alone. He didn't have to interact with other people. You see this a lot in these kind of situations with these mass shooters. Also, he lived alone in an apartment, and the neighbors said they never heard from the guy. He left him alone. He stayed privately in his apartment. When he would come home, he would never leave. He'd leave to go to work, come back, and pretty much just stay in his apartment.
The shooter parked down there and walked through this area here. Over here, the sign remains, probably untouched from the day of the shooting. The sign indicates services would have started at 9:30 a.m. on Saturdays. Over here, inside the doors, are the names of the 11 victims, each written on a separate white Star of David. Then over here is the Tree of Life. There are several signs on the entranceway doors, including one that says, "We've got your back too, Pittsburgh strong." Thank you, first responders. No place for hate. Your Christian brothers and sisters are praying with you, and other things.
We made our way on over to Homewood Cemetery, which is not far away from the site of the shooting.
Here's where we find the grave of Dr. Jerry Paul Rabinowitz, right here behind us. Dr. Rabinowitz was a very caring and compassionate doctor, according to everyone who knew him. He served for many, many years. He even treated HIV patients back in the 1980s when many other doctors refused to do so. Let's take a look at his grave here. Dr. Lisa Schlar said, Dr. Jerry was a role model to many, and especially to me. He was a quintessential family doc, committing himself to providing compassionate, patient-centered care with an enviable smile and charm. He was my family's family doctor as well, so we knew firsthand the personal care he provided. Jerry was also a leader in our Jewish community. He was my colleague for close to 20 years, a mentor, and a dear friend, and I will miss him deeply.
We are now at the grave of Joyce B. Feinberg. She was born and raised in Canada, even found the love of her life there. And then she came over here to the U.S. where she would volunteer her time into helping other people.
Joyce B. Feinberg, February 9th, 1943 through October 27th, 2018. Loving wife, mother, sister, grandmother, aunt, and friend. A woman of valor, righteous, and devoted. She lost her life in the shooting attack.
It's so sad.
She was an educator for the University of Pittsburgh. She had 2 sons, Howard and Anthony, and was also a loving grandmother.
We are at the grave of Cecil Rosenthal. He was the honorary mayor for Squirrel Hill.
And right next to him is his brother, David Bruce Rosenthal. He's buried right here. Unfortunately, both of these young men were killed in the attack at the synagogue. David Bruce Rosenthal, beloved son, brother, uncle, and friend. Cecil Howard Rosenthal, beloved son, brother, uncle, and friend. Cecil and David Bruce were greeters at the synagogue, which is why they were the first 2 shot when the shooter entered the lobby. They loved to hang out and talk to everyone in the Squirrel Hill community. Once, one of their neighbors was having an open house to sell their house, and the brothers even showed up for that, just to hang out.
It's really devastating how just one person can cause so much pain and sadness in a community.
This community right here, there are people here that will probably never get over the feelings of what this man did. They probably think about it still every single day. Now, if you want to help out, here's your opportunity to help out. They still need money to rebuild or to tear it down and build a new one, whatever they're going to end up doing. Go online, Tree of Life Synagogue, look it up, and you'll have an opportunity to donate online to a very worthy cause. We hope you'll look into that.